Well, Shaun, as a former teammate of Paul Warne, there's maybe no one better to tell us about Derby County's new head coach. You've always spoken very highly of him in the past. How happy were you to hear the news that he was coming to Derby?
Absolutely delighted. Delighted for Paul, his staff, and the football club. But I have to go on record and say first that I think Liam has done a wonderful job here. I'm sure there's a few that are disappointed he's not the one leading it forward because of the 18 months that he's put in terms of first team football, the coaching, taking them over at a really difficult period. He's brought in lots of great players that there's a style of football he's wanted to play as well. So he has to have huge credit. And what Paul's taken over is a club that's looking to move forward, that's in a good place. And a lot of that work is down to Liam. So first off, you have to credit Liam. But secondly, to have Warne at the football club is a huge plus. Wonderful guy, great character. Everything you see on whether it be podcasts, the interviews behind the scenes, the footage you see, it is real. There's no gimmicks to it. He's a genuinely lovely guy who has energy, enthusiasm, a real kind of quality to him. And there's a vulnerability to him as well, which is really endearing. I think you see times where, he can get emotional and he can get a little bit carried away. But it's always about the players. It's about the staff. It's about the fans. It's about the club. It's never about him. And he'll obviously divert, even when he's had success, divert it away from him to put it onto those other players. So we've got someone that is truly unique in football. And I think it's something that marries to what the owner wants, what he wants the club to stand for, and obviously getting a great track record from getting from League One to the Championship, I think 3 and 5 seasons. So that speaks for itself. The character and the manager you get in is something unique and something wonderful.
I've had lots of messages from people that have dealt with him in his time at Rotherham, and all of them echo the sort of things that you're talking about there. What was your experience of him as a teammate, firstly? Because he was in the side at Rotherham when you made your senior debut.
He was. And as a teammate, exactly the same as what you see as a manager. Always was willing to do the bit that maybe didn't help himself and help the team. It was a wonderful footballer. He won't tell you that, but he was a wonderful footballer. But his strength was his character, his drive, his energy and enthusiasm to get around the pitch, to make it hard for the opposition, to help out teammates. He often played on the right-hand side when I was playing right back, and it was so much easier when he was there because he would do all the doggy work, he'd do all the hard work for me. And just a lovable, kind of fun, energetic person to work with. So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with him. I think we've all seen the kind of interviews with him. We've all heard the podcast. We've all seen the behind-the-scenes footage, and there's no sort of other gain apart from those people that work around and they want to show you what kind of guy this person is and what he means to the players, what he means to the staff, and yeah, just an endearing guy that always wants the best for those around him. And there's a saying, be the best version of yourself, and that's all he wants. He wants those players, he wants the engagement, and everybody I spoke to that's been around Rotherham United said that every single person at that football club, fans, staff, owners, players, are all engaged and all part of what he wants for the football club, and that will undoubtedly happen here as well.
I think it's fair to say he was a bit of a reluctant manager in the first instance at Rotherham when he took over, but you can't argue with the success that he's had there with 3 promotions in the last 5 seasons.
Well, I think there'll be 2 reasons why Mr. Clowes has made the decision to bring Warne in, and the first will be undoubtedly his character and what he stands for, and his morals, all those things that really have highlighted himself as a manager over the last 5 or 6 years. And secondly, it's his track record in League One. 3 promotions in 5 seasons. It's quite remarkable. And for a team like Rotherham that are not a big side in the Championship and they've almost have established themselves as a good League One side, but to get 3 promotions on the trot from that division into the Championship, and in my opinion, I think it's the highest that Rotherham would have finished this year in the Championship if Paul had stayed. So the progression that we've seen over the last few years has been outstanding. He knows League One both as a player and as a manager and part of the staff. He was the S&C guy for a while and has been around it for a long time. So in terms of history and experience at League One, trying to get from League One to the Championship, again, there's probably no one better suited at the moment.
Paul, not the only former teammate that's coming in as part of the coaching staff. Richie Barker, no relation, played with him there as well.
I did, yeah. Richie's another great guy. There was probably a handful of lads that I would say I was close to when I was at Rotherham. I was a young boy coming through. It was an older kind of dressing room at that point, and there was a few players that I always thought were professional, good characters, loyal, and honest to work with. Richie, another one of those players, and I think with Paul Warne, Richie Barker and Paul Hurst, you've seen those characters kind of be really dominant in football over the last few years. Obviously, Hurst has done well at the few clubs he's been at, and I know Richie's a massive part of how Paul wants to set up, how he wants to play, how he wants to kind of integrate between being a manager, man manager, and the coaching side. And Rich is an excellent coach that all the values that Warney wants, he'll try and replicate that with the football as well. So there's a good relationship between the two of them. They've known each other for so many years and had real success together. What's
going to be the biggest adjustment challenge maybe for them, do you think, coming from Rotherham to Derby County?
I think you have to adjust in terms of the size of the club. There's no doubt that when Paul came through the kind of the Rotherham kind of environment maybe and their philosophy, it was based on hard work, being physical, getting results. Now Derby's a different environment. They want to see some football. They want to see a style of play. They want to see progression. And I think what he's got is a set of players that are probably footballing players that want to get the ball down. Liam's obviously coached them that way. So that transition from maybe a little bit more direct at Rotherham and then flipping that to hopefully try and create a bit of both going forward when they need to, and obviously playing a bit of football as well. So marrying the two up with the squad that he's got will be a little bit of a transition, but I've got no doubt that he'll be able to do that comfortably.
Away to Cambridge, his first game next Saturday, and 8 matches in October alone. It's going to be frantic for the new boss, isn't it?
It is, and he's the kind of manager and person that will relish that. I think being away from home, I have no problem saying that I think Warney will be able to get results away from home. I think he understands how to get results and how to get teams performing. I think it might have been last season that they got the highest number of clean sheets that the club have ever amassed, which was something like 26, 27. So that goes a long way in terms of results away from home. It's going to be frantic, but it's something he'll be looking forward to, him and all his staff. And probably almost a baptism of fire, you just go straight into it. There's no kind of talking about it and leading up to stuff. You're right in the mix straight away. It won't take long for the players to endear to him. It won't take long for the fans to endear to him. But shifting that focus of how they want to play, what he wants to get from the players, that'll be that little kind of transition that maybe will take a couple of weeks. But I've got no doubt that he'll get results and get them quickly.